Your brain is going to say, this is dangerous. This is not who we are. We need to go back to what we know. But if you stay in the cocoon long enough and you don't give up during the dissolution phase, something magical happens. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to the Confident Alchemist podcast. I'm Debbie, and I'm so excited that you have joined me today for what I believe is going to be a game-changing conversation. Let me start with a statistic that absolutely blew my mind when I first heard this. According to Forbes, 50% of the population, that means 1 in every 2 people wants to be an entrepreneur. They understand that entrepreneurship means freedom of many kinds: financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. But here's the kicker. According to Gallup, only 4 or 5% of the population is entrepreneurs. So what's happening here? Of the 50% who wants to make this leap, why is only 5% able to actually make this happen? That means 90% of people who dream about becoming entrepreneurs never make it a reality. So today, we're going to dive deep into the 5 mindset shifts that every entrepreneur needs to actually go from corporate to entrepreneurship. I'm going to share with you an analogy that completely changed how I think about this transition. I want you to imagine a caterpillar for a moment. This little creature spends his entire life crawling along branches and leaves and following the same predictable pattern every day in and out. It is safe, it knows exactly what to expect, and it has a clear routine. But then, something starts stirring inside of this caterpillar. There's a deep knowing that there must be something more, something beyond the branches and the leaves, beyond the predictability. So the caterpillar makes a decision that seems absolutely crazy to other caterpillars around them. So then the caterpillar decides to build a cocoon and totally dissolves itself inside the cocoon. Can you imagine how terrifying that must be? Everything it has ever known about itself is about to dissolve. Now, here's the part that most people don't understand about transformation. Inside that cocoon, the caterpillar doesn't just grow wings and keeps its caterpillar body. It literally dissolves into what scientists called imaginal soup. Everything it was breaks down completely. And in that soup, there are these things called imaginal cells. Cells that carry the blueprint for what it's to become. But here is the fascinating part about this. The caterpillar's immune system actually attacks these imaginal cells at first, treating them like foreign invaders. This is exactly what happens when you decide to become an entrepreneur. Your old identity, the employee, the person who follows instructions and strategies, who gets paid a paycheck every month, that identity is going to fight with that new identity of your entrepreneurial self. Your brain is going to say, this is dangerous. This is not who we are. We need to go back to what we know. Just like the caterpillar's immune system's attacking the very cells that's supposed to make it in a beautiful butterfly, your old self is going to attack you. But if you stay in the cocoon long enough, and you don't give up during the dissolution phase, something magical happens. Those imaginal cells start connecting with each other. They start building something entirely new. And eventually, a butterfly emerges. Something that can fly, something that can see the world from a different perspective. The caterpillar and the butterfly are the same creature, but they live in complete different worlds. The caterpillar could never imagine what it feels like to fly. And once you've become a butterfly, once you become an entrepreneur and you embody that identity, it's hard to imagine going back to crawling along the branches. But you have to be willing to dissolve first. You have to be willing to let go of who you've been so you can become who you were meant to be. So now that you understand that this is a natural process, let me share with you the 4 mindset shifts that you require to go from corporate into entrepreneurship and how to help with this transformation. So, the first mindset shift is understanding the difference between what I call security theater and real security. Think about the airport security for a moment. We take off our shoes, we put our liquids in little tiny bottles, we walk through scanners. It makes us feel safer. But security experts will tell you that most of these measurements are just theater. They create the illusion of safety without actually making us significantly safer. Employment is often security theater. We think having a job makes us secure, but the reality is that you can be let go at any moment for reasons completely out of your control. The company can downsize, your department can be eliminated, or they can simply decide that they don't need your role anymore. I learned this the hard way. When I was retrenched from a position I thought that was secure. I've been a loyal employee. I did great work. But none of that mattered when the company decided to restructure and I lost my job. Real security comes from developing skills that makes you valuable in any situation. When you become an entrepreneur, you develop the ability to create value, to solve problems, to generate income regardless of what's happening in the economy or in a particular company. It's like the difference between being given fish every day and learning how to fish. The person who's given a fish feels secure until the fish stop coming. But if you learn how to fish, they have real security because they can create what they need. The second mindset shift is moving from somebody who follows a recipe to somebody who creates them. Think about cooking for a moment. When you learn how to cook, you follow the recipe exactly. You measure out the ingredients precisely. You follow every step in order and you hope that it turns out like you hope and it looks like the picture. But master chefs don't cook like this. They understand the underlying principles behind cooking, how flavors work together, how heat affects the ingredients differently, and how timing impacts the texture. They can look at a refrigerator full of random ingredients and create something delicious because they understand the underlying principles. In corporate jobs, we are trained to be recipe followers. We give in procedures, protocols, and step-by-step instructions. We are getting rewarded for following the recipe exactly, not for innovation or creativity. But with entrepreneurship, you require to become a recipe creator. There is no manual for building your business. You have to understand the principles, how value creation works, how relationships are built, how problems are solved, and then create your own approach. The beautiful thing is that once you build this ability to create your own recipes, you become extremely resourceful. You can look at any challenge and think, I don't know exactly how to solve this, but I understand the principles, so I can figure it out. The third shift is moving from thermometer to being a thermostat. A thermometer simply reflects the temperature of its environment. If the room is cold, the thermometer will read cold. If the room is hot, the thermometer will read hot. It has no control over the temperature. It just reacts to whatever is happening in the environment. A thermostat, on the other hand, sets the temperature. It decides what the environment should be and then work to create that reality. Most employees are thermometers. If the company culture is negative, they become negative. If there's uncertainty in the market, they become uncertain. If their boss is stressed, they become stressed. They're constantly reacting to the environment around them rather than creating it. Entrepreneurs learn how to be thermostats. They decide what type of energy they want to bring to their business, what kind of culture they want to create, and what kind of legacy and impact they want to leave behind. They then create this reality by becoming the person who they want to be, regardless of the environment around them. That doesn't mean ignoring reality or being unrealistic. It means that they take responsibility for the energy in the environment that they create, rather than just reacting whatever comes your way. The last mindset shift is believing that everything is figure-outable. This might be the biggest differentiator I've seen between entrepreneurs and employees. When you ask an employee a question they don't know, they will say, I don't know. When you ask an entrepreneur a question, what they don't know, they will say, I don't know, but I will figure it out. I don't know, but I can ask for help. I don't know, but I can Google it. I don't know, but I'll find a trainer or a mentor or a course that can teach me. Think about this. Every problem you've ever faced in your life, up to this point, you survived. You found a way through every challenge. That means every problem you faced have been figure-outable. The difference is that entrepreneurs approach new challenges with the same confidence. They don't need to know everything before they start. They know that they can learn what they need along the way. So here's what I want you to take away from today's conversation. If you're feeling that pull towards entrepreneurship, if you're ready to step into that cocoon and start that transformation, know that the dissolution phase is temporary. And remember these 4 mindset shifts. 1. Move from security theater to real security by developing valuable skills. Shift from recipe following to recipe creators by understanding the underlying principles. Transform from the thermometer to the thermostat by taking control of your environment and believing that everything is figure-outable in the end. Here's what I want you to do after listening to this podcast. Think about if these 4 mindset shifts resonates with you. Are you ready to start being your own thermometer, or are you going to create being a thermostat? I love to hear from you, so send me a message on my social media and tell me if you are ready to step into this brave leap and start your own business. And remember, as always, please sign up for my free Confident Alchemist community. It's an online community where bold, strong women come together. They share their stories, they share their expertise, and they support each other. It is free, so you can join. I hope you got some golden nuggets out of this episode again. And then remember, I see you next week for more truth, transformation, and boldness. Thank you.